Right, here we go. Better turn the radio off in case I get copyright infringement. Small housing estate. These smaller low houses are what we would call bungalows in England. They're just single story buildings. They're quite small, but they're fairly cheap to buy compared to a lot of other property in England. My hometown, Weston-super-Mare, is home to about, I'm sure someone on the internet will correct me, I think it's grown to about 140,000 people nowadays. This guy's letting me go. So as I'm sure you can see, the comparisons to India are fairly apparent already. I do miss the traffic chaos and the horn beeping. If I drove around beeping a horn in England, a fight would probably start. People get very angry if you beep the horn too much. They see it as quite an aggressive thing to do. So we're going to go left. This little roundabout. There's a local bus. So let's see where we can go. I think I'm going to drive into town, the town centre. I live about 2 miles outside of the town, and I think it'd be nice to show people the seafront and the beach. Weston's on the coast. We've got a beach that's about 8 miles long, and also, this is an interesting fact, we have the 3rd highest tidal range in the world at Weston-super-Mare. Weston is on the mouth of the River Severn estuary, and due to the way that the tide comes and goes, the total height difference maximum between full, low and high tide is around about 12 metres. So that means when the tide is out in Weston, you can't even see the water. It's just the beach and a huge expanse of mud. So here we go. Let's go left. This little area is where I live. It's called Milton. Each part of a village or town has its own little name. And this little part of Weston's called Milton. Clean the windscreen. My car is quite dirty. I haven't driven it in a month, so it's nice to be able to come back and get in the car and have a drive. I do enjoy driving. Here's some drainage works, and these guys holding the go signs are operating some temporary traffic work so we can drive through when it says go. Generally find on the road in England, when you drive, people are very courteous. We like to let each other in and out of junctions, and don't like to drive too close to each other, or particularly fast. So Weston's quite an old town. There's been people living in this area since the 1700s at least. Most of the properties in Weston, I think that the largest expansion in the area took place in the 1930s, then again in the 1950s, and currently, see it's 2020 now, the last 10 years, a lot more new houses have been built. So a lot of fields that I remember seeing as a child are now actually large housing estates. So as you can see, it's quite quiet. It is roughly 2:30 in the afternoon, the end of February the 27th, and as you can see, there's not many folk around. Most people will be at work, children will be at school right now. I'm taking a few days off because I'm so tired coming back from India that I need to recover from the jet lag and the excitement of the last month. So I'm having a few quiet days. So thanks to my Indian friends egging me on, I decided that I would start filming this little series and endeavour to show, especially my Indian friends, exactly what England's like for me. Seeing as I was so lucky to see so much of India in the last month. The reason I was in India is a separate video channel's worth of bits and pieces that I'm putting together, but I will make that known in the near future, and hopefully you guys can jump across to that channel and see the good work I've been up to in Mumbai and also Delhi. So we're currently sat in some traffic behind a Renault van, quite a popular vehicle here. I think that one's a taxi, yes, it's a taxi. So you can hire that one to get in and go for trips around Weston, the local area. So they're all going that way, I'm going straight on. Residential houses, not many shops. This piece of road I'm coming up to has historically been called the Boulevard, which is a French word. Interestingly, we have some fairly wide pavements and like a tree-lined avenue. So again, this is quite an old street in Weston. Very old buildings either side. That was a public library just there to the left. It's now houses. England's undergone a lot of change in the last 30 years. A lot of things that you will see in India, like shops and local communities and people out doing things and hustle and bustle, don't really happen much in England anymore. All of the shops largely are in shopping centres, which are outside of the area I'm in at the moment. This used to be a very busy shopping street when I was a child in the 1980s, and now it's unfortunately quite quiet. I'll do a video where I walk up the main shopping high street, and I think people will be shocked at the fact that there is nobody there during the day. A lot of these shops are starting to close. People find it very hard to run businesses in England now. There's a lot of online shopping. You mainly get around here coffee shops, there's a pharmacy, a sandwich bar, a betting shop where you can gamble, and charity shops. So we're going to let the bus go. When I left Mumbai it was 34 degrees, and when I landed in London it was 4 degrees. A 30-degree difference, which was a terrible shock. This large building in front of us is the local college, Weston College. That is probably one of the tallest buildings in my town. You don't tend to get too many high-rise buildings in smaller places in England. So we're going to turn left here. This is the seafront. That's Weston Pier over there. Walk along that, and there are some amusements at the end, various rides and things you can spend money on. I think there's a small restaurant and bar and a place you can go to evening amusements. So this was a large dance hall on the left in the 1930s. I think it's been converted into bars and a music venue nowadays. Another side note, when you see a red traffic light in England, you must stop. You cannot go. There we go. We get caught at another one. So you can see everyone's wrapped up because it's very cold. It's quite windy at the moment too. We'll do a lap of this area, we can come back round and hopefully we'll be able to see a bit of it. A lot of these buildings on the left here are flats for older people, and there's a couple of hotels along here as well. School kids here on the left going on a little trip somewhere. All of these buildings on the left hand side are homes for elderly people. In England, elderly people or old folk, when they become 65, 70, tend to move into communal housing where they all live together. We don't all live together in one big family home, which I think is a shame. I think England would do well to respect its elders and look after them, because without them, none of us would be where we are now. The building ahead of us here used to be a hospital one day, but now that's flats, it's all housing. We're going to turn right here. A video for another day. This is what we call the promenade. Another French word. It's an area for people to walk their dogs, and people come here and cycle bicycles and roller skate, get some fresh sea air. As you can see, we like speed ramps in England too. can also see all of the houses up on the hillside. Beach walking dogs. Lots of people have pet dogs in England of many different breeds. I have a dog and he's called Oscar. So you'll meet him in a future video. He's a lovely old dog. He's quite naughty nowadays though. The place here on the left used to be a large outdoor swimming pool. But it was derelict for many, many years, I think 30 plus years. Nothing happened here. And the local council is still arguing to this day over what's going to happen with it. A lot of people in Weston would like a swimming pool, but nothing ever gets decided, unfortunately. The next building on the left here is what they call the Seaquarium. I went in there many years ago. It's a place where you can go and see fish in large tanks and all sorts of other marine wildlife. I think it's still open. Doesn't look very busy today though. Terrible cold I caught in Delhi. So we're going to drive back through town and we're going to go along through some of the main shopping areas.